What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are at about $85,213, moving around a little bit. Pumping up today. We're up 5%, prolonging the inevitable drop that we're going to have. Again, guys, the way to invalidate this drop, the way to do it is to get above $91,000. We got to get above this 236 right here. And it's at 90,820 to be completely fair. But if you can get a daily closing price above this line, not just wick above there, but close above there, that will invalidate any notion of going lower. It will validate this as a low. So if I'm to be wrong, if you're to celebrate on the bullish end, you need to wait for that level there, right? Other than that, we're still at lower prices now than whenever I started identifying this as a bullish butterfly pattern. We're still at lower prices now than whenever I was calling for prices to go down to 72 to 76K. Right, the target remains, or not 72 to 76, I'm sorry, 72 to 73K. The target still remains 72 to 73, but the more broad overall range could be taken as something at like 74 to $69,000, something in that kind of range there. We are moving up, and we do have good volume. I want to actually look at the RSI here if we're looking at this on a 4-hour basis. Decent volume. I shouldn't say great volume, but it is good. It's definitely above average volume. Looking at the 4-hour RSI, we are postured well, I would say. Higher lows, higher highs. I was expecting this one to come down a little bit more, but whatever, man. You got a nice kind of trajectory here. Call a spade, call it what it is. You're in a nice looking parallel trend, and maybe it's not parallel. Maybe you continue to grow here and it breaks this kind of parallel structure, whatever. That's more bullish than it is bearish. But if this parallel structure is to be respected to some degree, why can't I draw straight lines, man? Let's see. There you go, something like that. You'd probably find resistance around here. Pretty classic of Bitcoin to make these like fake out moves in the beginning of the day for people. I say the beginning of the day, it's actually late in the day, right? We've only got 8 hours, 17 minutes left in this day, but the beginning of the day for most people in America, or at least in the Western Hemisphere, you know, America, Canada, Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Ecuador, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua. What else is there? There's, I mean, other than that, I think then we're talking about South America, all the islands in the Caribbean. But who cares? Not that who cares about them, but who cares about that? We're talking about crypto right now, not geography, or my lack of knowledge of it. We'll see. Anyways, $85,100 now. I suppose the call could be that we continue to grow from here. The 4-hour doesn't look bad. It definitely allows for you to go higher. That's a pretty nice looking candle with 16 minutes left to close. Let's see how it goes. If you do by some chance close by pulling back down to this area in the next 16 minutes, that could be an obvious sign that there is some selling pressure coming on. This was just a bull trap of sorts, something to get the people hyped up before the weekend. It is Friday, isn't it? It's Friday, yeah, it is Friday. So once the stock market closes, then it is officially the weekend. Looking at the 1-hour RSI here, you're rejecting your overbought zone, getting oversold, getting overbought. You're very, very volatile. Clearly you are. This is some of the high readings that you've seen on this 1-hour RSI. So again, kind of implicating that we could be at the end of this run. Or if not, we could be at the beginning of something that's a lot more fierce than anybody might have been expecting, other than the permabulls at the bottom. But I'm not certain if we get that. As of now, I think we are just finding resistance at prior areas of resistance and prior areas of support. If we look at this, and we're a little bit above there. Don't get me wrong, we're a little bit above there, but still in that same general area. Oh, come on. I want the high to low. High, give me the high. You hit 'em high, hit 'em high. There we go. All right, and then that's at the low. Is that the actual low? That's the actual high. That's not the actual low. We want the actual low. There we go. Okay, so you're at the 0.5. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Oftentimes with the 0.5, you don't find significance there. But I always like to say, if you find significance there, you get significant moves. So if this is to remain some kind of significant area of resistance, in other words, if we're at 85K now, and we see a move that takes us back down to 83.2K essentially, that would likely implicate that we are going back to 80K and lower, right? And it would probably happen relatively fast. I wonder if we can find an example. I mean, here's a good example, right? You don't often find significance at the 0.5, but when you do, you get significant moves. That's a pretty fast move up right there. You did continue to go lower, to be fair. It doesn't mean that you have to reverse trajectory entirely, but I wonder if there's any other examples of this. And relatively speaking, on the 1 hour, you're not going to get anything magnificent on this basis alone, but let's just see. right? You bounced there, went up above your 382, didn't quite reach the 236. This time, hitting it twice, the more you hit it, the less significant it gets. So that's, to be completely fair, that's probably not a good example. Maybe we can find an example on a weekly time frame. Let's see. Maybe, maybe not. I don't want to spend too much time on this one. Let's see. Something like this. From a low to a high, right there, off the 0.5, literally tipped the 0.5, and look at the rip. You had a straight rip, right? Like I was saying, you don't oftentimes find significance on the 0.5, but if you do, you get significant moves, and that's not always. It's just a generality, or at least how I've seen you interact with it. Oh man, we're dropping, we are getting the drop to close the candle, maybe. I say we're dropping. We haven't dropped that much. Let's be fair. Don't get too eager to the downside, just like you shouldn't be too eager to the upside. I haven't looked at the comments, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who are saying inverse C-Zar, or C-Zar's the next Kramer, or you were wrong, haha, you suck. But again, I did call for this price action to go lower somewhere on this day, or maybe it was this day, so above the prices that we're at now. So if anything, I'm definitely not invalidated at this point. We still have lower to go, you guys. I'm very much expecting that we do complete the thought and we see this 72 to 73K range. All we've done is cool way the hell off on the bearish end. We have a lot of room now to go to the downside, and we'll see if we do. We'll see if we do. Again, if this 4 hour can continue pressing into the overbought zone, things might start to look bullish. If we can get to the $91,000 area and close above there, not today, not tomorrow, but just any day before going lower, then I'm wrong. That's simple as that, and I will eat that. I will definitely admit that I was wrong. I will have been wrong, because I let's just say I called it at 86K. I was calling for us to go lower. If I'm wrong by 5.5%, and then I have to flip my opinion to the bullish end, I will. I'll eat that loss. That's not that big of a deal. I really don't care. My pride is worthless in this game, man. If you care about being right or care about being wrong, you're the type of person that deletes videos, deletes comments. I don't do that. Everything's up. I never delete anything, unless I'm talking smack about somebody. Sometimes I'm not fond of talking smack about other YouTubers, right? Or other social media creators, because I don't want to. It doesn't matter. Anyways, 84.8K. I don't need to get in a war with anybody. I'm not trying to. But the shitheads in the comments, I don't mind talking smack to them. From a low to a high, we are at the 1618. We could be potentially finding resistance at the 1272. I would say if you want to better the odds that you go to $91,000 on a daily basis, you need to close above this 1272. Because if you do that, it'll look like you found a double bottom on the golden ratio. And if you're closing above the 1272, that does get you set up to go to 91.1K. That would get you set up to go to the 886 normally. So if you can close above today, we got 8 hours and 11 minutes left in the next 2 4-hour candles. If you can close above 84.2K, then I would say that it's looking good for you to go to the upside, short of a kind of crazy drop over the weekend, which can happen. And that's kind of what I'm expecting to happen as of the last 24 hours. We'll see if it does. But all I'm thinking about this is it's not making me think, oh, I was wrong. We're actually gonna rip from here. No. That's takes a little bit more for me to admit that I'm wrong, man. What this is making me think is, damn, this sucks. We're just prolonging the inevitable. Back here on this day, I was hoping that would be the day that we dropped to the floor, hit our support zone, and then we could continue to rip from there. We could have already been moving up by now, and maybe we are, and I'm just not seeing it. But every price action to the upside until we break above 91K is just prolonging the inevitable, at least in my opinion. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. If this were to be some kind of double bottom, which I don't think that it is, if it were double bottoms, you guys, they're kind of like this double top here, right? Look at this double top. This is clearly a double top, right? Because whenever you tip this area, you found resistance at it immediately, and then here, it did take you a few days, but you continued to go down rather immediately too, right? Here, we've kind of grinded this area out a little bit more. It's not like a tip, right? Not like a tip like these were, right? If we go to, I don't know, like this here, that's not necessarily a double top, but you see the resistance. You go down rather immediately. If this were to be not a double bottom, but some kind of like triple bottom, a low here, and a low here, and you notice that you didn't really grind out any of these lows. You kind of moved up rather immediately. So the more that we grind it out here, the more likely it's not a double bottom. If we can continue today, if by the end of today, you guys, we're above the 1272 or higher, it will start to look like a double bottom. Things will be exciting, but again, I'm not completely convinced until we're at $91,000 on the closing period. Again, I choose 91K because that is just below the 886, and it's also just above this 236 here, so something right in the middle. I feel like that's significant enough. Maybe if you want to be like very, very anal about it, you could say 91.1K, but I'm just going to say 91K. I think if you close above 91K, it's time to get excited. But we'll see how it goes. Coming back up a little bit to finish the hour. We'll see where we are. I don't know if I have anything else that I want to say. Let's look at the 15-minute time frame. Good volume, guys. Real good volume. You do have bearish divergence, in all fairness. You do have bearish divergence on the 15-minute time frame, double top there. Coming down a little bit, but you could close. You could really push this last 15 minutes to the upside. And with how you're looking, I wouldn't be surprised if you did. Volume's increasing as you're moving up. The shorter term time frames are disagreeing, in my opinion, with the longer term time frames and saying we might have some more upside. But in all fairness, we have been overbought for a little bit here on the 15-minute time frame. We are around the areas where we normally top off on the 1 hour time frame, and the 4 hour. And to be fair, it's not that bad actually. The 4 hours is pretty good. But if we look here, if we put a line right where we are now and assume we close here, and I'm assuming that we might close here because we only have 8 minutes left, but something around this area. We found resistance right at this area. We found resistance just above this area. So we're in a zone, and obviously we do see moments where we get overbought as well. But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. I suppose this next 8 hours of the day is rather crucial in really providing this look of going up higher or going down lower. Is this just a fake out? Is this a bull trap? I kind of assume it to be. We'll see how it goes. I got nothing else for you guys. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but please do not buy the trap. Hold out. You know, I really do think that it is a good time to just wait and be patient. And if this doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. Do it your way. This is not financial advice. But how I am is, let's say I was looking to buy Bitcoin, okay? And here throughout this whole range and back here, I thought that we were going to go down. Okay, let's just say that, okay? I had my opportunity to buy, and now it's up. It's basically back where I was originally flipping bearish, okay? Bullish before, flipped bearish around there. And now I'm looking to buy Bitcoin. How I am, I would not buy here, personally. I would rather buy at 91,000. I would rather buy up there, personally, than buy here in emotional hope and aspirations to the upside. I'd rather buy at confirmation that it's going higher and that it's not going lower. Even if it finds some volatility there, I'd rather buy at confirmation than I would rather buy here, because the reality is we still very likely will and could go down to 73 to 72K, right? And I'm not going to, for what could potentially be a little bit of a move up, and I would miss that, you know, I would miss that from here to there. It's not that big. I would rather risk missing that and then buy on the confirmation of it going higher than I would buy here whenever there's still a very real possibility that we're finding resistance at a key area of prior support and resistance, the 0.5 on the overall fib, and we likely have targets that are dramatically lower to go than even where our confirmation is. Okay, so but that's just how I am. I know it doesn't make sense to everybody, especially people who are new in the markets, or you know, some people just have different strategies too, even if they've been if they've got experience in the markets. But most people, I feel like most people who have experience, they understand that thought completely, which is that sometimes it is better to buy higher because it actually will, being in the phase of confirmation that you're in a strong move, that you are moving up, that's better than buying in this in between. Quite literally, they call this no man's land, right? You're in the middle here. If you think this is bullish, you are too bullish. If you don't think that this is bullish and you think that this is just going to mean that we're going to reject down, you might not be accepting the data either, because there are bullish prospects to this, right? I wouldn't say I'm inherently bearish. I've changed my mind over here to being bearish, to going to 72 to 73K, and it's going to take getting above 91K to invalidate that. But I'm not going to deny it. On the 4 hour, this kind of looks good. On the 1 hour, it kind of looks good too, but you are at areas where you might find resistance. The 15-minute does look a little bit exhausted, to be fair, but you could stay up here. You could keep going. I mean, maybe you come down a little bit and you keep going. Like, the shorter term time frames don't look bad at all, right? I'm not a perma bear. I'm definitely a bull overall for Bitcoin. I think that we are going to see new all-time highs over the coming months. Don't make the mistake at all of thinking that I haven't said that, right? I'm probably the only person on YouTube who's making the bold claim that our next target area, once we break out of this, is going to be at about 100 probably 150 to 175K, and I'm specifically expecting we go right around 170K. Nobody else is calling for those prices. At least I haven't heard anybody call for those prices. People might call for those at end of cycle. People might call for those at some point, but with the specific time frame of 4 to 6 weeks after we break out of this, that's kind of been the plan all along. And I did think we would be there by the end of February, by the end of March, and we just moved sideways and kept moving down, so that time frame gets pushed back. But I do think we're going there inevitably. Make no mistake, in the long term, as far as investing goes, if you're already invested, this short move down is not worth selling into. Waiting for the long move up is definitely worth just being patient and sitting on your hands. I hope that all makes sense. I don't have anything else that I want to say. I hope you guys all understand what I'm saying here. I know that I understand what I'm saying. Sometimes I don't communicate properly, but I do still expect that we're going lower. I'm not fazed by this at all. And we'll see how many people are. I'm sure there's a lot of people celebrating on X.com. I'm going to read some comments. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Take it easy, and bye-bye.